Good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you. Welcome to this thing that I do called Thor's Entertainment. I am Thor, and today I am doing another Fatal Friday video. Fatal Friday being the series I do where I take the main roster and cameo fighters into the Kombat League for Mortal Kombat 1, and I try to get their unique finishers like Fatalities and Brutalities. It is time to take Quan Chi and the cameo Scorpion into the Kombat League again. And this time around I am going after the projectile Brutality Skull Yum. That one belongs to Quan Chi, and it is one of two different projectile brutalities that he has. In fact, it's the exact same projectile, only one of them is a meter burn version, and one is the normal one.
Your army of demons can't drag me to hell.
What if I stab, scorch, and flay you first? Take one.
So yeah, expect to see me throwing around a bunch of skull-related projectiles in this video. And my opponent for this set is somebody using Omni-Man and the kameo Kung Lao, and man, I am very familiar with that combination. Every single finisher I did for Omni-Man and the kameo Kung Lao involved those two being paired up together. And granted, pretty much everybody plays their character a little bit differently than you do. But since I am familiar with this pairing, I am very confident that I will at least kind of know what is coming. At least to some extent. Now I have no idea what happened in this very first round with my opponent, but at one point they just stopped moving entirely. Fortunately, they do eventually start participating in the fight again, so I'm not going to skip and find another opponent. But what I will skip is the time, because I think it takes him like 30 or so seconds for him to start fighting again, and I'm not going to make you just sit here and watch him standing still for 30 seconds. So instead, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of a time skip. At the beginning of the time skip, we had 70 seconds left in the round. At the very end of the time skip, we had 41 seconds left. So yeah, it took about 30 seconds for this person to finally start participating in the fight again. No judgment though, I have been in situations where my controller just died mid-match, and I'm guessing something like that probably happened. And after that very brief pause, the fight was on and we did not get any more interruptions for the remainder of our set in the Kombat League. Now I was plenty kind to my opponent. I waited for them to return without just, ending the fight. I would much rather actually play out the entire set actually fighting against each other than just, hitting an opponent who is standing still and getting the win that way. Granted, that would mean my record would probably have a few more wins on it if I did take that approach, but I don't know. That's just not so fun for me, so I would much rather be just fighting my opponent. And of course, the kindness that I showed my opponent kind of bites me in the ass. Because after I waited for him to return to the fight, sure enough, Omni-Man ends up beating me. So, yeah, I blew that life lead that I had, and I lost after, sticking around and waiting 30 seconds for my opponent to do something. Maybe I should rethink my approach to opponents who are just not involved in the fight and they just stand there. Nah, we'll go ahead and just chalk this up as a one-off. I feel good about what I did. Let's go ahead and continue the fight. Speaking of which, after that catastrophic meltdown in the very first round, I end up taking the second round of this match, so things are kind of back on track for me. We now find ourselves in a third and final round to determine who will be the winner of the very first match, and things are going pretty smoothly for me so far. And after one more combo, my opponent should be on low enough health where it is time for me to just go ahead and retreat and then bombard them with non-stop projectiles until one finally takes their life and activates the brutality. Let's go ahead and go for it.
Quan Chi wins.
And there it is. That was the Skull Yum Brutality for Quan Chi. So yeah, nothing too fancy there. Quan Chi just needs to throw his projectile at the right distance, and if it manages to hit the opponent and deplete their life, that little projectile eats their face. And yeah, that skull projectile then just leaves them with nothing but a skull. That is a lot of skulls and very appropriate for Mortal Kombat's favorite goth kid. And with that brutality out of the way, all I need to do is go ahead and win the entire set. It would be nice to get it again. We will see if that happens. But as per the usual, if I only get the brutality once, I am still satisfied with that performance, and I am happy that I got the brutality at all. And yeah, after a catastrophic first round where I was kind enough to let my opponent get back into the fight, they beat me, but then I won every round after that, so things are not so bad for me. Hopefully I can keep that momentum going here in the second match of the set. And so far that momentum is carrying over nicely as I took the very first round of the second match. Only one more to go and we can wrap up this entire set. So yeah, I have no idea what my problem was in the very first round that I fought against this individual. Maybe waiting all that time just made me kind of rusty and threw me off, I don't know. But ever since that loss, I have been having a pretty good time. Well, now I do not like the look of that. Omni-Man landed that fatal blow, which does not necessarily bode well for me because I remember back in that first round that I lost. What really shifted the momentum was whenever he landed the fatal blow then. The last thing I need now is another momentum shift. It's probably better if I go ahead and try to finish this match any way I possibly can rather than try to go for that brutality a second time. After all, even though things have gone pretty smoothly for me so far, the last thing I want to do is have a momentum shift and keep my opponent in this fight longer than necessary. Probably better to just go ahead and take the win if I have the opportunity. And that is exactly what I did because I just defeated Omni-Man. I took the entire set, winning 2-0. And thank you to my random Omni-Man opponent that I got in the Kombat League. Even though I only got the brutality one time, do not worry, as per the usual, I will go ahead and show the brutality one final time at the very end of the outro, that way we can all enjoy it one more time before we part ways. But yeah, after a rocky start, we ended up pulling off the Skull Yum brutality for Quan Chi, and overall the match went pretty smoothly and we ended up with a fairly easy victory. Well, that is whenever the Omni-Man user wasn't landing those fatal blows against me because they never missed a single one. At least I don't think they did. But with that victory and the brutality knocked out, there's not really too much more to say. We'll go ahead and wrap things up here. Just thank you for watching the video and I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, feel free to check out some of the other stuff I have on the Thor's Entertainment channel. I do have other finisher related videos just like this under the Mortal Kombat 1 online playlist. And if you are interested in the stories of Mortal Kombat, I have playthroughs of various story modes to include Mortal Kombat 9, 10, 11, and 1. So if those sound interesting to you, feel free to check those out too. So yeah, that is going to be it. Thank you again for watching the video, take care, and I will see you next time.
Brutality. Quan Chi wins.